Happy lunchtime, everybody. It's 25 past noon. My name is Francois Marticotte. I'm from Montreal. And I will discuss with you a topic about millennials, but using a darker side of millennials. This is why millennials hate luxury brands. And the main reason why I choose that topic is because I'm quite a negative person. It was said that this morning by Mr. LVMH, that Generation Y, millennials, are important for luxury firms today, and they are expected to be more important in the coming years. I'll skip some slides to make sure I can present in 20 minutes. This is a report from Bain & Company 2016, presenting 5 major trends for 2020, and one of them is Generation X and Y increasingly contribute to the growth of the luxury industry. From the same report, you can see here that it is expected in 2020 also that Generation X will be the most important segment and followed closely by Generation Y. So we expect the Generation Y to be very important for the growth of these firms. But there's a major assumption. Those people from Generation Y will buy if they have a positive attitude toward luxury brands. This likely lead to purchase intentions and consequently to purchase behavior. But what if they have negative effects toward luxury brands? They are most unlikely to have purchase intentions and consequently not buying the luxury firms, plus having unfavorable behaviors such as bad word of mouth, trash talking, and so forth. So the main topic of this study is about negative effects some people may have towards luxury brands. More specifically, we'll talk about brand hate, which is an intense negative emotion toward a brand. This was discussed in the literature only by a few academics. In one group, we have Daly, Romani, Zarantonello, and Egner, which talk about brand hate, not specifically to luxury brands, but for brands overall. And we have on the other side, Bryson is, as far as I know, the only study that really tackles the brand hate for luxury products. So what I'm trying to do is to combine the results from those studies, but specifically for millennials. So why millennials hate luxury brands? Reasons of brand hate, according to Zarantonello, there are 3 reasons. Corporate wrongdoings, which is immoral corporate behaviors, actions, and policies. Second reason, violations of expectations. Negative consumption experience. So you have bought the brand, you were not satisfied, then you're having a negative attitude toward that same brand. And third, the taste system. Negative brand image and people using it. You don't like the image of the brand and you don't like people wearing or using that luxury brand. And he came up with a very sophisticated model And all those constructs here are statistically significant. They are all related. And you can see here some negative consequences of brand hate. Complaining, negative word of mouth, protest, and patronage reduction or cessation. Egner, 2017, also found 3 reasons for brand hate. Negative past experience, symbolic incongruity, meaning the brand represents an undesired image of the consumer. So there is no fit between the brand image and the image of oneself. And third reason, ideological incompatibility. So the firm is doing some things wrong about legal, social, and moral behaviors. So thus far, the reasons found by Zarantonello and Egner are about the same. Egner came out with this model with the 3 antecedents, brand A, and consequences. And as you can see, if you're near the screen, the most important factor is ideological incompatibility, meaning the firm is not doing good. The brand or the product may be okay, may be good, but people don't like what the firms do. And the second reason is symbolic incongruity, the unfit between the brand image and the image of the person, his real image or his idealized image. And the third factor is negative past experience. So what does it mean? It means that you can have brand hate even though you're not buying, you have not bought the brand before. And I think it's a very important result. So how to convince people that never bought the brand, but they hate it? This is the main question, main topic. So brand image is potentially a more important determinant of brand hate than the dissatisfaction a consumer has about his or her experience with the brand. All related to brand image. As far as Bryson is concerned, using a quantitative study, they found 4 reasons. The first one is country of origin. So if you expect, for instance, luxury shoes to be made from Italy, if those shoes are from Spain, so they are not luxury. Also, you have animosity related to country of origin. These handbags are made in the USA. I don't like Donald Trump. Don't like Donald Trump, so I hate this brand coming from the USA. And the other 3 reasons are the same as those found in the previous studies. They are called differently: consumer dissatisfaction, negative stereotypes of a brand's consumers, and corporate social performance. So this study is different from the other one on the fact that it is luxury specific and it concentrates on millennials. So millennials are people born between 1977 and 94 for some researchers. For others, they are from 1986 to 2005, and so on. So there's not a consensus about when this segment begins and when it ends. But we know it's about a 20-year period. Parman said this generation covers a period where individuals are coming of age around the millennium and that their values remain somewhat stable for the rest of their lives. And this is important for marketers. It is presumed that at this period, their preferences will crystallize, will stabilize, and they should have the same behaviors when they'll get older. So if people love your brand when they're millennials, chances are they will love your brand when they'll get older. Quickly on that slide, some characteristics of millennials found in the literature. Of course, the important size of this group, somebody said about 2 billion persons. Okay, so very important segment. They tend to be materialistic and having an hefty buying power, tend to spend big amounts of money for prestige brands, live a period in their life where they're looking to find their true identity. They are tech savvy and they are receptive and open to alternative means of ownership. And it was a question from you, sir, about 10 or 15 minutes ago. Generation Y is not a homogeneous segment. Although people are grouped based on their age, spread on around a 20-year period, they may have different values as well as being different on other characteristics such as job status, revenues, and life stage. And we'll show later on that effectively this is not a homogeneous segment. I proceeded with, this is an empirical study of course, I proceeded with a two-stage process. The first one was a qualitative approach using two focus groups with graduated students who were millennials. The main objective was in fact twofold. The first was to find reasons why millennials hate luxury brands, and second objective was to identify brands that they hate. The 10 most hated brands were selected to form a set of brands used in the quantitative phase that we'll show, and I will show you in a couple of minutes. Brands covered 3 industries characterized by conspicuous consumptions. So we have clothing, including Lacoste, Louis Vuitton, sorry. Gucci, Chanel, Michael Kors, and Dolce & Gabbana. We have jewelry with a Rolex, and cars with BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Lamborghini. Those were the 10 most cited brands by these two focus groups. Overall, 26 new reasons were generated by the participants, reasons why they hate luxury brands. Common themes stem from excessive pricing, lack of exclusivity, old image, not aesthetically appealing, too conspicuous, etc. Those factors were integrated in the questionnaire of the quantitative phase. What about the quantitative phase? Was built on a questionnaire, hyperlinked through graduated students' Facebook page leading to an online questionnaire. The target population, of course, were millennials. In that study, people born between 1982 and 1999. Respondents were asked to pick the brand among the 10 that we have seen before, which they feel they have the most negative feelings, and to score their emotion on a scale from 1, this brand makes me indifferent, I have no interest, to 10, I deeply hate that brand. And respondents could also pick a brand of their own, as long as it generates strong negative feelings. And very important is that respondents did not have to have an experience with that brand. So we did not exclude if they had experience with, but we did not only encourage, but we hoped that the brand that was selected was not bought before by the respondent. Question tackling key concept, brand 8, symbolic incongruity, ideological incompatibility, coming from scales from Egner and al. 2017, plus the 26 items I've talked about earlier on. Those items were measured on a 5-point Likert scale, and the questionnaire was carried out in French. It is very small. You will have to trust me on that. The first row is brand image, the second is symbolic incongruity, the third is ideological incompatibility, those scales from Egner, and the 5 other rows are the results from our 26 items. They were factor analyzed, and we came out with 5 factors, and those factors were out of style, not attractive, not exclusive, too conspicuous, bad price-quality ratio, and products not ethical enough. The product itself, not the firm, but the product itself. Sample profile of the study, sample size of 321 respondents, mainly female, international. It's a coincidence, but also find they're coming from 17 countries. Mainly Canadian and French, age between 18 and 35 years old. And you have also other demographic characteristics. So, the 10 most hated brands. On top, Michael Kors, followed by Louis Vuitton. Terribly sorry again.
It's normal, right? Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, the 3 biggest luxury brands. That attract the most of the attention, right? I think this is normal.
Then Lacoste, Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, and so on. Keep in mind that the main score is about the same from those 10 brands. So, for instance, Michael Kors was mentioned the most often, but it doesn't mean that on the scale level is the most hated brands among those 10. With that, I proceeded with multiple regression analysis, and to have a clearer picture, I'm not sure, this would be clearer. Maybe so. We have here the 7 factors that may explain brand A luxury, brand luxury A. The first 5 factors are significant. So we have ideological incompatibility being the most important explaining brand A luxury, followed by symbolic incongruity. And then we have 3 factors coming from our 26 items related specifically to luxury brands. We have too conspicuous, out of style, and not exclusive. Bad price quality ratio and products not ethical enough were not statistically significant. In other words, overall, there are 5 factors explaining why millennials hate luxury brands. Starting from that point, and presuming that this segment is not homogeneous, what I did is do some further analysis using some demographics and the fact that people did bought previously that brand or not. So here we have a picture from male and female millennials. So on this side, you have male, on this side female, and we see that for male, there are two reasons why they hate luxury brands. Ideological incompatibility and too conspicuous. But for female, there are four significant reasons why they hate luxury brands. And the only point in common is the ideological incompatibility. But the other reasons are different whether you are a woman or a man. The same thing with the age among millennials. So I split the sample between younger and older millennials. And you see here clearly a different pattern. For the youngest part of the millennials, the unique factor explaining their brand hate is symbolic incongruity. But for older millennials, there are 6 factors. So again, the pattern is very different between the fact that you are old, yeah, maybe because they are more mature. Between Canadian and French, that were our biggest respondents coming from. 3 factors on each side, but again, the only factor that is common in both is symbolic incongruity. And finally, the fact that they have previous experience with the brand. Experience, not experience, and again, we see the pattern is different. 2 common factors, ideological incompatibility and symbolic incongruity. But for the non-experienced respondents, we add 3 other factors. And something I did not mention before, brand hate level was higher for people who had not possessed the brand before. Can you say it again? Doing a mean analysis, the level of brand hate was higher for those who did not possess the brand before. And the difference was significant. So discussion and implications. The millennial segment is not homogeneous. I think I've answered, I guess, sir, your question before. According to this study, it's clear that there is not one type of millennial. Targeted actions have to be specific to sub-segments. In that case, we use gender, age, experience with the brand, and nationality, but of course there are other factors to consider. The non-experienced respondents have a higher level of brand hate, so it's of course a big challenge for luxury firms for future growth. You cannot rely on your existing consumers. You will have to increase your consumer base. And if at the starting point they hate your brand, it's going to be an additional hurdle to skip. How can the firms cope with bad with a negative word of mouth, for instance, brand bashing, that is not based on bad experience? Some people will bash your brand even though they did not have experience with it. Discussion implications for the overall model. For the importance of the ideological incompatibility construct variable. This is the most important variable explaining why people hate luxury brand. They think that the firm does not good. They are not ethical. They are not treating people correctly. They are doing wrong. It's not related about the brand itself. It's about the firm. So this is the most important. So some implications possible. don't underestimate the importance of firms that do business. This generation prefers buying from companies that help people, communities, and the environment. Firms need to be transparent in their actions. Firms need to communicate how well they do about general social issues. And the message must be believable to be communicated through social media by peers. As far as the other 4 factors are concerned, Generation Y members may not be receptive to a high status image. It's related to the symbolic incongruity factor. Related to the conspicuous factor is the democratization of luxury, the solution. How to tackle the lack of exclusivity topic. And finally, is it worthwhile, relevant to change the aesthetic features of the brand to address the out of style and too conspicuous concerns? That's it. Thanks. Yes.
It's not really a question, but 2 comparisons with my own research. So the first one was the fact that your study really clearly also falls on the point of what's the purpose of luxury, and millennials are more and more interested in finding why in the first place. And one of the solutions is probably related much more what luxury brands are doing in terms of art, sense of enhancing stabilization, which goes beyond the material or the product itself, which could be. And the second one, I've done a study. I'm just finishing a study on counterfeiting in the digital e-commerce landscape, and one of the things we find is that more and more people buy fakes voluntarily online because it's easy and anonymous. And one of the reasons is that they don't think that a lot of luxury brands are doing a good job by offshoring a lot of things that they've done and selling at higher prices than they used to. And they lose trust and respect in the brand. And they're more prone, therefore, to start buying fakes. And which comes back somehow to your concept of ideological incompatibility. But in my study, I don't focus on millennials. It's general.
Yes.
I have 3 short questions. First of all, is it possible to combine a brand and a hate? Because usually a brand is considered as a value well delivered. It's something that is differentiated, it's desirable, and it evokes positive associations. This is the Kelly Lake brand. So, this is an assumption. I spent 3 years studying Ben & Jerry's brand for my dissertation research. And there I met a lot of people in the United States who said, I just love the ice cream. It's everything ice cream can be. But I hate their politics, but I love the brand. So they had both hate and they ate. It was a combination. How is this possible? They love the brand, but they hated the politics that the corporation was standing for.
For me, the politics of the brand, of the firm,
Yeah.
is part of the brand itself.
Yes, but this is how they defined it. And then my third question, how did you find the respondents? Did you ask that you had in this survey? Was the assumption that you have to hate the brand, or how?
They had a list of 10 brands, and they had to select one of those 10 brands, or a brand of their own,
Okay.
a brand that they ate of their own.
Okay.
but the big majority of respondents selected from the list of them.
And then, sorry, was it based on hate? Sorry, what?
Well, using the Agner construct measuring brand hate on 4 or 6 items.
Okay. So, for me, it will be interesting to see which brands they love.
Yes.
You love
I would like to see, like the list of the, like you did, but I would like to see the correlation in regards to the brands they love as
Okay.
a total sample. It will be very interesting to see.
Of course.
Does it exist in your?
Comparing the two?
Yeah. Did you ask the question?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Actually, this is a very interesting point because a friend of mine, he did a study in the car business, he works for Mercedes, and he learned that a lot of people hate Porsche, and which is kind of a showy car, you know, Porsche. But then these people love Ferrari. So, and what was the explanation? The explanation was jealousy. The Porsche, the guy who hated Porsche could not afford a Porsche. I mean, he isn't working for Louis Vuitton, so he hated Porsche. But then the more expensive car, the Ferrari, he loved, and the explanation was unattainable luxury. The Ferrari is so much far out that the jealousy doesn't even carry over. So maybe that's why you get some hate or jealousy. What do you think?
No, it's a question.
But here, the big part of our respondents did not have experience with that brand, so maybe jealousy
Yeah,
was
how could you? Because you can't afford it.
It's
So
a
in that case,
perception.
whether you love, you hate Porsche because you love Ferrari,
No, the Ferrari is so far out. It's like a protection lid. It's kind of very expensive. So, and you kind of look at the Porsche, you can't even afford that. So at least you're angry, you hate the Porsche.
but you should hate also Ferrari.
Well, maybe not, but it's unattainable. That's what you
You hate Real Madrid, but you love Barcelona.
You love Bayern Munich.
Oh, Bayern Munich, yeah.
But I think it's a non-linear relationship that you suggest. Proximity to affordability, you might have a greater chance of making it because you can buy, but it's closer.
Right.
But unattainable ones, basically you don't have an opinion, or if you do, you say, I love it, right? So there's a non-linear concept that you're actually.
But I think also the thing is that no, but also we focus on hate, right? In everything, every event, every brand, even people, there's always haters.
Exactly.
Why do we focus on hate? We should focus on the ones that who love, who is neutral for us. As brand owners, right? We focus on the ones that we compare. There will always be haters no matter what we do. So
On that note, I think the chairs should probably take over and basically summarize what the session is about.
Okay, that means it's about I shine.
All of these guys.
Sorry, just say one